KCAA. KCAA 1050 AM 106.5 FM. Hello to you. Good afternoon to you. Happy hump day here in Southern California. I'm Mark Westwood along with Donald Williamson on the Donald Williamson Taxsaver and Payer and More show. Welcoming you once again to one of our fine shows. Today we're going to have two guests. The first part of the show we'll have Alberto Ceja on, a young man from the area, and we're going to talk about San Bernardino city politics a little bit, what has just recently occurred in San Bernardino. And then at the second part of the show, we're going to talk with a woman entrepreneur who has made her way through the business world and made a successful business called Mars Carpets out in Calamasa area. It serves Calamasa, Yucaipa, Banning, Beaumont, and we're going to look forward to talking to her. And so, Donald, how you doing today?
Well, actually, is this on?
I believe it is because I can hear you.
Okay, I'm doing very well. And all things considered, I got these two dogs. I mentioned that new ones because my other three had died. One a year ago, one 6 months ago, and one recently. And I got two new dogs, and they got out. And I didn't know.
Is that dogs, D-A-W-G, Joe?
D-O-G-S. and I tried to find them to feed them. That's when I discovered they were gone.
Who let the dogs out?
Oh, yeah. Who let the dogs out? I was asking that. How'd they get out? And the good Lord, thank him that he led me to them because they were lost and I couldn't find them. But it took me almost right to them.
Well, Donald lost his last dog about 4 months ago or so.
Less, I think.
And or less, and it was a cherished little Yorkie he had.
Yeah.
And he was quite upset about that. So I'm glad he got another dog or two. I always have a trouble saying these without sounding as Shih Tzus.
Well, that's what they claimed they were, but they had been they were rescue dogs, and the groomer they were so bad that he just sheared it all off. So I don't think that's really what they are, but I'm happy with them. I wanted two female spaded dogs, and I got two male dogs. Mm-hmm. But they're small, and they love me, and I love them, and I take them walking and jogging every night. Or they take me walking and jogging every night. I'm not sure which it is.
Donald's a widower, lost his beloved wife some years ago, and he's a retired San Bernardino County tax assessor, 3 terms, getting ready to run for State Board of Equalization District 1. He's gearing up for that. And
yes, and that's quite a chore because there's only 30 counties in it, District 1.
Only 30 counties.
That's all.
Just a little gerrymander.
And at first, I said, no, that's too many counties. And then I got to thinking, well, actually, it is doable. And so I've been doing the forms and doing things, and it's going to happen as far as running. And I think the incumbent can be beat.
And that's the tone at the end of the day, is this incumbent can be beat. As long as you have the community behind you, as long as you have a good team behind you, you can win this seat, and that's the most important part.
Well, they haven't been doing. He hasn't been doing his job. The American Legion, I've been helping them. That's the reason I started this show, was because of American Legion, because they didn't have their exemption. When I was the assessor before I left office, all of them did in San Bernardino County. I come back these few years later. Most of them don't have any, and if the ones that do is just a little bit, like a room or two that's exempt. That's not what the law says. They should all have it. And I was, before I left office, because I was also, I was a consultant to the BOE at the same time. Mm-hmm. They're actually above the assessors. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I was going to, while I was the assessor, I was going to change and not make them file it every year, since there's almost no change. The chief counsel, assistant chief counsel, who became chief counsel, Christine, she finally agreed that I could do it as the assessor, and I was going to send them a notice every year asking, is there any change? Mm-hmm. And so she finally was in agreement with it. So, it's working with them, but for them to, and it clearly states, I don't know how they could be more clear. It says all veterans organizations are exempt from taxation, period. And first it was passed by Congress, then the state of California codified the exact words into the Revenue and Taxation Code, state of California. And it can't be more clear to me than that. And I don't even think, the way I read that, they're exempt before they file.
Yeah.
The law says they are exempt, not exemptable. There's a difference.
Yeah.
You always can tell when Donald gets passionate. He starts pounding on the table. And I always say, don't pound on the table.
But it doesn't say it's exemptable where they got to file. The main reason for filing, so we know they're there, and to give it to them. It's not. They're already, according to law, they are exempt from taxation. So in my opinion, they're already exempt. We just got to know who they are so we can give it to them, and for them to lose it after they've had it, that's terrible.
And that gives you more of a reason for you to run, and that's why you're so passionate about
Yeah,
that.
well, there's other people that deserve it too, and they're not getting it. The veterans, disabled veterans, they need a lot of help, and I'll give it to them. I'm going to be their voice from Southern California all the way to Northern California. I've been to Sacramento. I fought the BOE, and I won. I've never lost.
I see that passion. I literally see that passion no matter what, and you're gonna do well in Sacramento. And I feel like that's the type of voice that we need.
Don't be mistaken by Donald's age. He's got a passion. He's got strength and energy. I was coming out of surgery, and ladies and gentlemen, I had surgery about 12 days ago. Well, Friday a week ago. Not in 12 days. Almost. Anyway, and I'm tired, and I'm walking to the parking lot, and I'm kind of like, oh, I got to get in that building and sit down. And the phone rings. It's Donald Williamson. He says, hey, Mark. And this is my Donald Williamson impression. Hey, Mark, I got an idea. And I'm like, uh-oh. He says, well, I saw that the veterans, the Kiwanis, and Optimists have all done this, and we ought to do this too. And I said, we? And he says, yeah, we ought to do a 5K run. I'm like, do you have somebody in your pocket?
Actually, probably one or less, because I wanted to get disabled kids and families in on it.
That's notable.
We used to do that. Kiwanis did over in Fontana at the high school, and it didn't make any
dying
difference.
here, and he's like,
It didn't
I'm
matter.
like 30 years younger than him, and he's like telling me, yeah, I want to run on 5K.
And it didn't matter if they come in dead last. You should see the smiles and the laughter and how happy they were that they were there.
It's good. I salute you, Donald. I'm not saying anything more than I salute you. And I was watching Night at the Museum last night. It's a movie from a long time ago. Have you ever seen Night at the Museum?
Oh yeah.
I think I did.
And my roommate Sam wanted to watch it. I used to watch it when he was a kid. And they had the salute they did when they went like this. And then they saluted.
And they saluted.
Yeah, and I thought, I'm going to salute you like that today, Don.
Salute
And
to
then they had this tiki statue that said, what was it? Dum dum, I want some gum gum.
Yeah.
Dum, I want some gum gum.
Anyway, you haven't watched that movie. It's a great movie. It's an old movie. It had Robin Williams in it, actually.
Yeah.
But a good movie. So moving on, because we got a lot to cover here. And I tell you what, I'm going to wait for your tax stuff until the middle of the show today.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought that was it.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Well, I got my folder here. I can go on and on.
We have a lot to talk about here, and I do have a guest on the way in here too. And every once in a while in democracy, we get somebody who decides they want to short step it. And this happened in my beautiful beleaguered San Bernardino, which I lived in for 38 years and went to Riley Elementary School and Lincoln Elementary School and Airview Junior High School and Cal State San Bernardino before I went on to Cal State Fullerton. And I got to tell you, I was on the Parks and Rec Commission for 8 years. I founded the Patrons of the Roosevelt Bowl. I ran for state assembly here and got 113,000 votes in this area and other areas. People know me, and I've been on the radio, and every single one of the city council people, including the mayor, has sat right at this table and talked on our microphones. And, a lot of them have been genuine, and some of them have been disingenuous. And in particular, I got a call from one Tim Prince, said, Mark, you're not going to believe what they're trying. I says, what? He says, this was Saturday. He says, they posted on Friday they're going to have a special emergency meeting. And they want to eliminate the office of mayor and the mayor from the city of San Bernardino. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. What are they talking about? When is this meeting? They said Monday. I said, you are kidding me. There's no notice. There's no nothing. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. Not only that, They wanted to eliminate they wanted to add 3-year term limits, 3-year term limits.
Consecutive term limits.
Consecutive term limits. Yeah, so if they had 2 and they wanted to go back and forth, just like Trump tried to do.
Yep.
And then that's a very good point. And they also wanted to, what was the other thing? Eliminate the primary. You got to be kidding me. Who thought this up? Well, this was one, Teddy Sanchez, a couple of other council members who had a beef with the mayor, and they thought they were just going to end this beef right here and now. But by the way, I'm speaking with Roberto Ceja, who was there and spoke quite eloquently. And when I heard him, I said, I got to have him on the radio. There are a lot of young people. Don was there. I was there. I spoke. There were over 500 people there with that short notice.
Jammed there.
It was
jammed.
Even surrounding the building too.
The room was full. They were up and down the aisles. They were in the front of the room, the back of the room, outside the room. There's a foyer out in the front, which was quite large, and that was completely full. And they were flowing out of the double doors there, out into the parking lot in the foyer outside. When I went out to the restroom, I was just stunned. I thought the room was full, and it was just, I could barely get to the restroom. There was so many people standing everywhere. People upset. And how many people did they see?
About 500. Yeah, 500, to the point that the fire marshal had to escort the people outside.
Yeah.
Twice he had to do it.
Yeah, the fire marshal was breaking
He
it
was
up a
real
little
nice
bit.
about it, too.
Yeah, he was nice, and he just politely just asked people to just step outside. It's a fire hazard.
And then how many people spoke, Roberto?
About 100. We got 144, 141 comments, something like that,
Yeah.
including the emails as well.
And how many were in favor of Teddy Sanchez's amendment to the charter?
None.
See, normally, folks, when people do an amendment to a charter like this, the San Diego City Charter was amended about 7 or 8 years ago. It used to be 60 pages.
Yes.
With all the amendments and everything. They narrowed it down to 14 pages. But normally, when you do all this, you have to figure out, just like when you mark a bill up for a state senate or state assembly, you got to see what the cost is, what the fiscal impact is. You've got to see all of these things and how it, will work with the rest of the components in your charter. And, the mayor also, represents, on the different joint powers authorities, from the airports to whatever land they own, the different cities own, and transportation boards and all that stuff. So it's kind of not just a ceremonial role.
No.
Helps to bring a lot of money in, too.
It helps bring a lot of money in, and it's the only position in the whole city that's elected by the entire city.
And they represent the face of the community, and that's something that a lot of us kind of see, that when we see the mayor, we see that this is the face of progress moving forward in San Bernardino. And a lot of people see the progress being made in the city.
Yeah. And how many people spoke in favor of it?
None.
Yeah.
Honestly,
there was one that was kind of partial.
But for the most part, none.
None.
Well, there might have been 3 councilmen that just didn't get the word.
Well, and it was, okay, they started the meeting right 05:01. And I knew that the council people that were in favor were going to be in for it, because the mayor came out first, and she got a standing ovation and applause, and the room was packed. And then it went on from there. Everybody got 3 minutes to speak. People were, for the most part, polite. Not all of them. Not all of them.
Pretty much.
But pretty much, they took their time. They cooperated with the 3 minutes. It was one right after another, after another, after another. And it went on till, I think, 10...
10-8, if I'm not mistaken, or
10 something, something like that. I was like, oh my gosh! But then I wanted to stay to make sure, because the fire marshal was saying after you talk, leave. So a lot of people that talked left.
Well, they went to the back room, I think. A lot of them.
Some of
But
them.
that was jammed too.
Yeah.
And some just said when I went home and watched it on TV. So the room was kind of about maybe even less than a third full by the end of the night. So I was really worried that they'd see that and say, oh, well, nobody really cared. They just talked, they had their piece and leave. So then we came to the vote. And by the way, you can describe it too. There were young people, old people.
Like even I was surprised too that they were even conservatives out there too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I was really elated by the young people.
Yeah.
There was one 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19, and there was about 5 or 6.
Yes.
And they wanted, they didn't want people to take it away. Their right to vote.
Yeah, and
vote for the mayor.
There was one, I'm gonna say too. There was one young person that organized. There was an ICE protest, and he was there too, and spoke out against this.
And I'm glad he did.
I even witnessed firsthand and this is a rare moment. The head of the Tea Party in the Inland Empire hugged one of the most progressive liberal people in the room.
Yes.
And said, Mark, that was me. I love you. Thank you for standing up for democracy. And I said, this is the first I've ever been hugged by you. But thanks, and I agree with you. This is not about who's in the seat. This isn't a partisan thing. This is a thing about democracy, and how it smells, how you make change. This whole thing should have gone to the
Committee.
The committee.
The committee first, yeah.
The bylaws and chartering committee, which there is one, and I know the head of that one too. And they just totally got bypassed on it. And my opinion is that what happened was Mr. Sanchez wanted to run for mayor, didn't want to have the expense, maybe thought he couldn't win that way, I don't know, but wanted to get elected by 4 city council members instead of the 77,780 people registered to vote in San Bernardino.
Yep.
Yeah. And you heard in my speech, I said, none of you over here have a mandate. None of you have a mandate.
No.
Because you're all there by default. I said, in fact, there's a good reason to disband the city of San Bernardino because the voters aren't voting, which means they're not inspired, they're not motivated, they don't have confidence in you. A lot of you got elected by less votes than most ASB high school student body presidents across the city.
And see, what's kind of interesting too is the amount of people that was there showed that they do care.
Yeah.
The fact that we got this so last minute, and the fact that they were going to eliminate the electoral process of selecting a mayor shows why they deeply care. And so even though he was trying to go around it, the fact is that the amount of people that showed up deeply care about the city.
The sign at the outside city limits, I'm sorry, I'll just go quick. Oh. The sign at the outside city limits says there's 224,987 people in San Bernardino, of which 77,760 are registered to vote. That means they're qualified to vote. That's not enough people registered to vote out of that number. There needs to be more people, and then there needs to be more people voting. So if you want it, folks, keep getting this same result and these same kinds of things and maybe totally lose your representation, then you just keep not voting. But not voting is as loud vote as there is voting.
Yep. I always like to, and I've done this too. I've done a voter outreach at Cal State San Bernardino, and I've always educated that a lot of us younger folks would often get, vote because it matters, But it's like a lot of people, when you compare it to the overall population, it's just like, well, it's just one minor vote, but that one vote can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So,
It did that night.
Yeah, it
Mayor
did.
had to break it.
And Helen Tran,
3-3.
she vetoed that vote.
So the way that this works, folks, is when you have an emergency, emergency with the city council, we had this about 2 months ago in the city of Yucaipa, where they were trying to install fire sprinklers in every mobile home park. It would have cost every mobile home that wanted to remodel or put a new roof on or whatever, they decided at the last minute before the laws and the building codes were frozen due to the fires in Palisade, where they were trying to freeze the building codes so that they could actually get these houses built. The state did that. And so the city of Yucaipa popped up and said, we need to have fire sprinklers in mobile homes. If they remodel, if they do major construction, or if they're brand new, and brand new mobile homes already have fire sprinklers in them. So we're going to require there to be fire sprinklers. So they called an emergency meeting. And when an emergency meeting happens, they have to have a supermajority. So in Yucaipa, there's 5 people only on the city council. So they literally had to have 4/5, 4 people vote for it, or just 2 people vote against it, and it was done. That's the way it turned out. 3 people actually voted against it. And we saved the mobile home park owners money because they would have had to put in new piping supplies. And, of course, we saved the mobile homes in Yucaipa from having to do that, where they literally have had to rip the roof off, build a new roof on it to put in the fire sprinklers. I don't know who came up with this idea. It was kind of crazy. But, since 1993, there have been 4 mobile homes burnt in the city of Yucaipa. Only 4.
Out of how many mobile homes?
Well, Sonny, you should say that because I'm the chair of the Yucaipa Mobile Home Residents Association. Funny you should say that. There are 42 parks and 4,200 spaces. So there's at least one person in each one of those spaces, and a lot of times mobile homes have 3, 4, 5 people into it. So we say there's about 6,000 residents in the city of Yucaipa that are in mobile homes. It's a large population. It's how it started. By the way, the Yucaipa Mobile Home Residents Association meeting is this Saturday at 10 a.m. at El Dorado Mobile Home Park. Anyway, just a little plug there. But we saved the mobile home park owners, and we saved the mobile home from the city. And that's the way it should work. But the same way here in the city of San Bernardino, they have 7 people, so they could have 4 people vote one way or the other. So what it came down to, and let me correct me because I'm trying to remember, this all happened so fast, and there was so much yelling and screaming at the very end.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like the city council people were screaming at each other.
Yeah.
So the way it came down to is, first of all, the mayor pro tem voted for the measure.
Mm-hmm.
Teddy Sanchez voted for the measure. Juan Sanchez,
yeah.
I
forgot his name.
Well, a councilman anyway.
he got up and walked out, and people were booing because they thought he's not going to vote at all. So he came back in, and he voted for the measure. But Mario Flores voted against it, and Treasurer Ortiz voted against it. So they didn't, and they were going to have a majority, but there was the mayor. And when there was a tiebreaker like that, then the mayor can say, I veto it, and she used her power to veto it, and it went down.
Yep.
So,
But I don't know how those 3 that wanted to go ahead and go through with it could listen to all that crowd all together wanting this thing to be turned down. And they're supposed to represent the people. For God's sakes, they hear, they see, or don't they hear, don't they see?
See, and it goes.
And they were gonna vote for it anyway. No, the people didn't want to.
It goes down to, with these members, especially people that have this kind of power, it doesn't matter. Like you can even have 600 people or even 1,000, and it wouldn't change their mind.
and that's why I spoke up to him and said, you all don't have a mandate to do this. You don't have that many votes. You're just in there by the skin of your chin, and the hair of your chinny chin chin. And, one person up there, Ted Sanchez, only had 500 votes to get elected.
Yeah.
And he's the one proposing it. So, if you want to be mayor of the city of San Bernardino, there's still time to go down and file, pull papers, and run, just like everybody else does. And, give it your best shot, wage your money, and whatever you want to do and fundraise and convince people and motivate people. But every last one of them, none of them has inspired people. Mayor Tran had the most votes. She's had the most votes. By and far large, she had double-digit numbers. The rest of them only had maybe 1,000 votes, or one had 1,200 votes, and then the rest were like 500 to 600 or 700 votes the last time. That's pathetic. It's just pathetic. Do you blame the people, or maybe the people are just saying, I don't have anybody to vote for, so I'm not going to vote?
But she listened.
Yeah, she
saw and she heard the overwhelming support to turn it down, and she represented the people and voted their way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she got thunderous round of applause. She's a popular mayor. I will tell you, I'm not for or against Helen Tran. I don't know enough about Helen Tran. She's very nice. She's very affable. I like her. However, that's emotion.
Let's see if we can get her on the air.
Well,
not today.
She's been on the air before, but we will do it again.
I'd like to see her come back.
She was also pregnant in the middle of her term, so she was out for a while. The most notable thing she did was swing a hammer at the Carousel Mall and tear it down. I don't know that there's other than I can look at the city and say it's a little cleaner. There's a homeless problem that's been addressed pretty decently. I don't know exactly how they addressed it, whether they got homeless people homes or whether they pushed them to another city.
I think it's a little bit of combination of a lot of things.
A lot of things.
But they have improved it.
So, crime is down. The police chief got to announce that about 2 weeks ago. The police chief of the city of San Bernardino says crime is down. Are you ready for this? 40%.
Yeah.
That is wild.
That's astounding.
That is wild.
That is really good. So there's hope for San Bernardino. I don't think Helen Tran has done any damage, that's for sure. I live in Yucaipa now. I can't vote in the city of San Bernardino, but this was my hometown. This is where I had a home for 38 years. This is where I paid taxes for all that time. I served a long time here. I sold my house and went through a quick escrow, and I didn't have a house to buy. And so my realtor says, hey, there's this mobile home up in Yucaipa. I've got a mobile home for sale. You can buy that in 10 minutes. And I went and paid cash for it, moved into it, and I've liked it ever since and never moved back. But part of me wants to move back to San Bernardino and say, I'm going to run against Ted Sanchez.
Honestly, might as well run.
I'd have to live here for a while longer than I did before the election. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. But I did point at Ted Sanchez, and I pointed at mouthed the word, you're toast. Because whatever he does and wherever he runs, I'm going to make sure that he's got strong opposition. And Ted Sanchez, you need to go. You need to go.
If you can't listen to that many people in harmony,
Yeah.
all saying the same thing, wanting to turn that thing down, and not go with them, you're out of touch.
That's right. I agree with it. You know what? We're here at the halfway point already, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Roberto, I'll have you stick around, and,
Sure.
and maybe you can help out in the next segment. We're going to bring on Catherine Polasek here, woman entrepreneur from Mars Carpets. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff with her, not political, but about being a woman entrepreneur in the business world today and how she's made her way in that, and about the carpet business a little bit. We're going to bring her on during the break. So I'm right here with Donald Williamson, Roberto Ceja, which, by the way, means eyebrow in Spanish.
Yes, it does.
And Mark Westwood, Eric Osario is in the control room. We're going to be hearing from Catherine, and we'll be right back with more right after this on the Donald Williamson Taxpayer, Saver, and More Show on KCAA, 1050 AM and 106.5.
Southern California's Inland Talk Express is KCAA.
Give your car some attention and make sure it's shiny and bright at Miracle Mile Car Wash at 247 Southeast Street in San Bernardino. Hand washing and detailing. On Monday and Wednesdays, you can get an extra special deluxe wash for a great price. They have early bird specials every day from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. You'll be amazed. Your car will not only shine bright, it may just run a little better too. Miracle Mile Car Wash at 247 Southeast Street in San Bernardino, just across the street from the Inland Empire 66ers Stadium. Shine bright today.
Backstory with Lillian Vasquez offers an intimate look into the lives of local artists, entrepreneurs, visionaries, and legends. One compelling story at a time. Whether reconnecting with beloved childhood TV icons, exploring the journeys that have shaped lives and inspired change, raising awareness on important issues, you'll find it all on Backstory with Lillian Vasquez. Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. on KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM on our smartphone app and streaming on iHeartRadio.
Now, here's a new concept: digital network advertising, where businesses display your ad inside their building. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, your company is going to thrive with digital network advertising. Choose your marketing sites or jump on the DNA system and advertise with all participants. Your business ad or logo is rotated multiple times an hour inside local businesses where people will discover your company. Digital network advertising, DNA, a novel way to be seen and remembered. Digital network advertising with networks in Redlands and Yucaipa. Call in the 909 area 222-9293 for introductory pricing. That's 909-222-9293 for digital network advertising. One last time, digital network advertising, 909-222-9293.
When you're in Colton or Fontana, don't miss the great local food stylings of Alexis Cafe. Open every day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Discover 30 years of bringing our community the vibrant flavors of Mexico. In Colton, they're at 115 North Mount Vernon Avenue, just down the street from San Bernardino Valley College. When you go, tell them you heard on this radio station and say muchos gracias. You can find them online at alexiscafemexicangrill.com. That's alexiscafemexicangrill.com.
KCAA.
This segment brought to you by Marty's Carriage Barn Antiques at 31181 Outer Highway 10.
KCAA.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs
The dogs out. KCAA 1050 AM 106.5 FM. We were talking about that. Donald Williamson, our co-host here on the Donald Williamson Taxsaver and Saver More Show, just got a couple new little dogs, little Shih Tzus.
Well, that's what they claimed they were. They were rescue dogs, but they have been, I guess, gone so long, running around. I don't know that when they got them, they shaved all their fur. And they don't look like a Shih Tzu to me.
Oh, wait.
And I'm going to keep them looking the way they are because I like it.
They're great dogs, by the way. They're great dogs. I had
But
one.
they got out this morning. They went up on my little hill in the back, and the guy above me had put in one of them white fences, the plastic ones. and but over on the ends where we had tied in to the old ones so the dogs couldn't get out. He put that in. They didn't connect it back. I think that's where they got out. But the good Lord led me to them. I prayed. I was crying. 'Cause
Well, Donald
I thought
Williamson?
I lost them.
It's our pleasure and honor to welcome a woman entrepreneur, a friend of Lillian Vasquez's, and of course she's a
My
friend
wife
of ours.
was entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur, owns her own business. Catherine Polishek.
Hi.
Did I get that right?
You did. You got
You're
it
so
right.
surprised.
No,
That
I
was-
am. Yeah.
and she is the entrepreneur owner of Mars Carpets.
Correct.
And if you've ever been driving down the 10 freeway, east or west, in between, I think, Calamasa Boulevard and Singleton Road, maybe.
Actually, no. I am in Loma Linda.
Oh, you're in Loma Linda.
I am in Loma Linda, so I'm right in
Oh.
between Waterman and Anderson.
Okay. Okay. I'm totally off on that. I take
Typical
that.
new also, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
But the name is very familiar. I know
Yeah.
some people. We had a Bev St. Andrews and Richard Richard Sajowski. Richard Sajowski, Deborah's dad, had a business, and I think they did some business with Mars Carpet, but it might have been before you were there. You've owned it since
the end of 2022,
Mm-hmm.
and I've actually been working there since 2010, I want to say. So
so you've been in the carpet business a little bit.
I have, yeah.
Did you ever know a guy named Larry Turner?
Larry Turner. It sounds familiar, but I can't.
Okay, Larry Turner owned Turner's Carpets, and rest his soul, he's no longer living.
Oh, yeah, I know Turner Carpets.
Yeah, up in Ukaipa.
Yep.
And he was a character. Totally opposite. We got along really well. He was like a friend of mine. He used to call me up from his jacuzzi, and he was an older guy, and he would just be, having a 3 martini afternoon at the end of the day, and he'd call me up and say, "I'm running down the street naked, Mark." I'm like, "Oh no, Larry, don't tell me about that." He was just such a character, and of course, I'd pull up behind his shop. He was one of our sponsors here, and I'd pull up behind. He was my client, and he was on for about 4 years with me. And I'd pull up behind his shop, and it said Trump all over the place. I'm like, "Arr." And then, he had all these wild game trophy heads on the back of his shop, not in the front, but the back of his shop, moose and deer and whatever else he had shot and killed. But it's like, but the one outstanding story I know about that, and I can tell this now, and if you're living in the city of Ukaipa, they were building a Chili's restaurant, and right now it's called the American Road Trip, and that restaurant's now closed down too because the owner passed away. But Larry passed away about 4 or 5 years ago. And in between the time they were building this Chili's restaurant, it's right next to City Hall. And so all the building inspectors and all the inspectors that needed an extra tick on their inspection sheet before they turned in for the day would stop by there, and they'd inspect the heck out of this building. And finally, Chili's just got so disgusted, they took their chili off the side of the building, and they moved on and said, "We're not going to open this restaurant here. We can't. You're just over-regulating us, and we don't want to be over-regulated like this, so we're gone." So the building stayed empty for 2 or 3 years. And during that time, Larry and his friends decided to have some fun with the citizens of Ukaipa. And one April Fool's Day, they got a big banner made that said, "Coming soon, Hooters Restaurant." And they hung it on the side of the building right next to City Hall. Oh, my God, there was such an uproar. It was so funny. Nobody knew who did that. I did. But nobody knew they did that for years and years and years, and they went and took that down right away. And then, by golly, they got that restaurant leased quite fast after that.
So who is running Turner's Carpets now?
His son is.
His son,
yeah.
okay.
I believe his son is doing. I think they're doing okay. Really nice people. Ernie's still up there, I think, and about 10, 15 years ago, they recarpeted my house. I have a mobile home, and did a great job. And then the carpet started wear out, but I decided to put in vinyl plank flooring through most of the house. Got a couple of bedrooms still carpet. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. Anyway, it was just an excellent experience, and it's nice to talk to small business people.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the carpet business?
I started helping out my dad, and I was coming out of school. I was pretty burnt out, and so I started working there on the weekends. And before I knew it, I began to enjoy small business. The whole challenge with integrating. At the time, right, he had this little calendar, for instance, that he would write all the all the installations on. Everything was pen and paper. And so I went in there and I was like watching things change for small business owners like him, and where he needed to pay more attention to like online reviews, for instance, or getting things synchronized so that installers could actually see things on their phones right as we were, putting customers in or pulling them off the installations.
Well, I could see that his eyes over here lighting up because he just graduated with a master's degree in mathematics. And
Oh,
when you talk about grids and all that stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and all that stuff, he's like, oh, I know I can do that.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. And so I started enjoying those aspects, along with always just helping people out and choosing color. And also it's kind of funny because when couples go in there, sometimes they take flooring way too serious. And so, you work as a relationship mediator sometimes. And there's a lot of aspects to small business and particularly home renovation that is just wonderful.
Yeah.
I just really started to love it. And then I want to say when I got my biggest taste of small business project management, just the whole kit and caboodle was when we got an invitation to bid out the Krikorian in Redlands. Do you guys remember?
The theater, yeah.
Yeah. And so I just got this. I was like a dog with a bone, and I
It
was
had
like,
a quick
I want it.
ownership change, though.
It did.
Yeah,
The
they
Studio
did.
Movie
Look.
Grill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's
Oh,
It was-
there's look. And
it's
then,
a look.
Now it's gone. So they just shut down.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, because
wait a minute.
So it went from Krikorian to Studio Movie Grill to Look, and now I don't know what's happening.
Oh my gosh.
No wonder,
Yeah.
because my wife and I recently went around that area. We went to Public Market in
Yeah.
Redlands.
Yep.
And completely blackout. And we
Yeah.
just thought, oh, maybe they're just closed for the day. Or maybe
No.
they shut down.
They
Oh,
shut down.
no,
So
I'm so sad.
sad.
That's my favorite theater.
I know, mine too. We just got the little passes. We like to buy the passes for
You
the
mean
year.
the look
So
is not going?
no,
They
closed
We
down.
just went there a few weeks ago, my son and I.
It was so sudden from what I was reading. The employees didn't even know until the day that they were shutting down.
Something must have happened there with an owner or something.
They said that they were filing for bankruptcy for about a year. I'm not sure how true that was.
Well, they've had new competition.
Yeah, the Harkins.
The Harkins
Yeah, the
Theater.
Arkin is not that far away, and then my son and I also we go to it. We were going to look also, and then we would go up to the new one up in North Montana.
Well, the owners are Esri, Jack Dangerman, who developed the
yeah.
Sprouts, all that.
Yeah.
He has now taken over the Redlands Mall, and
Yep.
they
Yes,
started construction
finally.
on that.
I know.
And I
Yeah.
think there's slated to be a theater in that vault and all that too.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, so I'm so sorry to hear about that. That's just so sudden. I did this the first moment I've heard this.
Yeah.
I'm stunned. I'm upset because I was just this weekend thinking I'm going to go to look and I don't care what they're showing. I'm going to sit down and watch some movie and I like the fact they had service at the seats and you could get food there.
And it was small.
And it was small.
It wasn't that busy, which was probably the big problem.
It's different.
I always thought it was
That's
busy,
different
but
than when it was at Krikorian.
Yeah. And especially because it was like vibrant to the community too. They even renamed the street name after, I forgot who.
Oh gosh.
I forgot his
Jackson or
I
something
remember.
like that.
I forgot his
Yeah.
name too, but he was a really sweet man.
It
He
was
there forever.
It was the highlight of Redlands, and for me, I'm not a true Redlands resident. Like I've only lived there for about 6 years, but my wife and other residents have lived there for like a while, and
Oh, yeah.
they've been there.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they've,
maybe you'll get to recarpet
Yeah.
it one more time.
there you go.
Yeah,
You might be able to.
yeah, I might just be able to. But that was a huge highlight. So we were awarded the Studio Movie Grill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got to recarpet because I grew up in Redlands, and so that's I think one of the reasons why I was like I really want to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and so I went ahead and we bid that out. And then was able to get 2 other movie theaters at the same time, which was crazy. But that
That's
was
a lot of carpeting in a movie
That
theater.
is a lot.
That is. And so I thought, if I can pull this off, I manage about 95% of it. I thought, I think I can.
Because you're not
do
only
this.
carpeting the floors, you're doing the walls
The
sometimes
walls, yeah. The vinyl plank is usually there's some vinyl plank, the stairs, and, you have to go ahead and go through the work in sync with other traits and can't be in each other's ways. And
Well, we're going to have to find the 411 out about that because
Yeah.
I'm just kind of behind the times. I know the editor of the Redlands Community News, the Ukipa News Mirror, and all that, Rachel Gustafson. I don't know if you know Rachel or not. She's a great lady.
I know. I think her name is Alex from Community Forward News.
I
Yeah.
don't know her.
Yeah, it's a smaller.
yeah,
I
yeah,
like
It's,
it.
it's just an
I like that
online
one.
thing,
Yeah.
but Redlands is Redlands Community News, the Fontana Daily Herald, the LA Weekly, and the Ukipa News Mirror, and the Banning Beaumont Record Gazette are all the same company. And anyway, I'm just stunned. I'll have to ask her about that.
I think
Let's
it
move on.
literally happened. I think Friday, maybe, or Saturday, or maybe it was Sunday. I don't know. It just happened not too long ago.
Yeah, it must have happened.
That is
Well,
just crazy.
That is kind of crazy. Well, let's move on to happier things here. Although I'm upset.
Let's thread. Yeah.
I'm a movie guy. And I just had surgery, so I haven't been. I had gallbladder surgery, folks, and about 3 weeks prior to that, I was pretty sick, and so I haven't been out and about in about 5 or 6 weeks. And this weekend, I was thinking, I might be up to doing something. That was one of my thoughts, was go there. Anyway, so tell us what's your biggest challenge other than like closing down movie theaters? Being a woman entrepreneur in the carpet industry.
Well, you know, it's. I was telling Lillian, I've not really experienced a normal economy since I took on the business. And so what I know is just grind, you know, like just keep my head down and like try to figure out creative
Surviving
ways.
COVID and the economy. And
COVID was just so amazing for our industry. It was after COVID.
I lost
where
a radio
just-
station
Yeah.
in Palm Springs.
Wait,
Yeah.
really?
Oh yeah, people were home and they just wanted to renovate. their homes.
That makes sense because
Yeah.
they're home, they got nothing else to do, and they
Yeah.
just like, might as well renovate.
For
Exactly.
the radio industry, everything was closed down. We couldn't talk to anybody. The
Yeah.
restaurant, especially in Palm Springs, where I lost that radio station.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't do anything. Just give up, you know. I thought, well, this is going to be over in a couple months. It just
Yeah.
kept going. This is not going to last more than 6 months. And, you know, we're into our second year, and it was just like, this is terrible. So I know what you're talking about, you know.
Yeah.
But for you, people staying at home probably, that was good.
Yes, and it wasn't necessarily what I experienced, right? That was still when the ownership was elsewhere. And so here I took over. I had to move immediately the warehouse because we used to be in Redlands. We were in Redlands for over 15 years. The business has been around since like 1976.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so my dad bought it in 84. We were in Redlands for the majority of the time. I think he was in Colton for some time, but over 20 years in Redlands. And
My parents had Mars carpeting, wall-to-wall shag carpeting.
yeah.
And then they had
still
this-
can,
this
or
guy-
you can.
No.
Anyone can.
And then they had the cottage cheese ceilings blown at the same time and had the carpeting put in
Yeah.
and some paneling put up. That was in the 70s, you know.
Yeah, I still see homes like that. I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So relocating to Loma Linda was hard, but the building that we got that was big enough for the store and the warehouse is the old ATV shop. It was an ATV shop for a bit, and then it was also, I think, a spa.
Now
place.
tell me
It
where
was a
this is
spa.
again, and for our listeners, we're listening and talking to Catherine Polishek from Mars Carpeting, a woman entrepreneur in the industry of carpet.
Yes.
And she relocated her business to Redlands.
To
Loma
Loma
Linda.
Linda, correct.
And it's, tell me the cross street. It's Redlands Boulevard and...
So literally, if you're coming, if you're exiting to go to Costco, instead of going to Costco, you're gonna make a left, and then you're gonna make a right on Redlands Boulevard. So we're right there off that Anderson exit. If you're heading west,
Okay.
and if you're coming east, then you would exit Waterman South.
How many miles to the Del Taco? Not very much, is it?
No, I think it's probably like, I don't know, less than half.
One of my
Less
favorite
than
restaurants.
half or a mile, if
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not mistaken.
Yeah, Gus's is even better.
I think
though.
there's a Del Taco right on the corner of
Yeah.
Tippecanoe
Yeah.
in Redlands Boulevard.
Yeah.
Yes, Don Williamson is a Del Taco fan. And if you ever watched the movie, the TV show called Frankie and Grace, and Grace always wanted to go to, or Frankie always wanted to go to Del Taco and have a Del Taco Talk. It was a big thing. They always had. She go, we're just going to have to go to Del Taco and talk this one out. But maybe we could go to Mars Carpet instead, and lay down and think about this or something. I lay out the carpet or whatever. So
I've been sitting here listening to this entrepreneur with Mars Carpet, and I'm thinking, how can I give her some advice to save her maybe some money on her property taxes. See, they file every year they have to file a business personal property statement. Do you know that?
No, I did not.
You don't know that? Yeah, because there's a personal property tax, not inventory, not on
you
your
ignore it,
inventory,
too.
but on your business personal property. And there's certain things that are not included in it that some people might not know that. So, for example, you do not have to include anything that goes out the door with your sale. For example, you got a box, put it in, the sacks, you put it in, it goes out. It's considered inventory then, and you don't pay on that. Tape, string. So whoever's doing your income tax, which they may be making sure of that, I don't know. But that has to be filed, that business personal property has to be filed with the assessor every year. And
That's all the desks, furniture, office desks. I swear to you, we only have 3 computers in this whole building.
and one other thing, if you got old equipment, say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And you know-
because if it's there, but you can't use it because it's broken, be sure to let it because it's worthless.
And it's county by county, by the way. The county of San Bernardino was trying to charge us for our transmitter building and all the stuff in our transmitter building. We said, it's in Riverside County. Stop that. So sometimes the tax assessor's office is a rock. Donald wasn't working there and shepherding at that time. But yeah, that's good advice,
I'm always
Donald.
on the side of trying to help the taxpayer save as much money as they can.
Absolutely.
And the reason I know so much was because I was 12 years as deputy assessor and I was out doing it, actually doing it. And then when I became the assessor of San Bernardino County for 3 terms, 12 years, I was always, when they came in the door and they asked for me, they knew, bring him in. If I'm there, I don't make them come back. I don't make them make an appointment. If I'm there, bring them on in.
Let's shift gears, Don. Let's shift gears, okay? And we're into third gear now. Tell me, Catherine, what's some of the specialty services that Mars Carpets offers over and above what other carpet services offer?
One of the funnest things is carpet binding locally. And so, the big movement has been hard surface flooring. Everybody's been ripping out their carpet, just like you did, right? And you put down your vinyl plank or your hardwood.
But
whatever.
I'm sure you offer that stuff too.
Yes, absolutely. And so, we have remnants. I've got remnants, and I'm always hunting for good deals of stock carpet. And so you could literally come into the store, look at, find something that you like, and then we can custom make an area rug for you. And so any shape, any size, if you want it to be, I'm going to make an area rug for a customer that wanted to put carpet over some tile and she didn't want to ruin her tile. And so I'm like, well, why don't we just make a nice big area rug, and that'll give you that soft feel that you're wanting, and you won't ruin your tile. And so you can even, the neat thing with that is that you can even make area rugs out of some really good, you got 2 little dogs, right? And so there's some carpets that have a backing
they're not
on
indoor
them.
dogs.
Oh.
But carpets that have
they're in my
backing for dogs.
garage.
that are-
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in my garage
Yeah.
with the doggy door to go in the backyard.
Yeah.
Well, if
There
they
you
ever got in your house and they did something on these carpets, it would prevent any kind of moisture from going through the actual
My little
rug.
my
which is
little
nice.
gizmo,
so-
the last dog that
That's
was
nice.
dying,
Yeah.
he was partly indoor.
Yeah.
Well, that's
my dogs are all
that's
indoor.
a good service. And
Yeah.
so, do you have crews of carpet layers and stuff that work for you? And you have
Yeah.
to manage all that.
Yeah, I've got.
Is that a challenge for a woman?
It is. Well, I think it's a challenge for anyone, honestly. These guys have been, Noe, for instance, he's been with us for over 20 years, and I already have a really good working relationship with him. Crews are really respectful if you know what you're doing. And so, and a lot of these guys I've met before. Like I've got commercial contacts that I can call on for bigger jobs that I worked with because of these movie theaters. They all kind of know each other. And so it's like, if I need somebody more, I can go ahead and ask one of the guys and they'll find individuals, and they don't have a problem,
Now, for instance, I live in a mobile home. A lot of mobile homes experience this problem. I had new planking put down, new boards, subboards, or whatever you want to call them. But then, just lo and behold, about 4 or 5 months ago, my roommate put in a fish aquarium.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it leaked. He didn't know it was leaking behind the fish aquarium. It kind of, He knows him because he used to work here. It kind of disintegrated the wood, so I've got to put some new planking down.
Yeah.
Do you guys offer that service too?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any left over? Do you have anything on you, like an extra box or?
No. Well, I'm going to put carpeting down that room. So.
Oh, okay.
So once I pull the carpeting up, we're going to do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I
Okay.
love you, Sam. Anyway, you offer services like that. You come out, you do estimates and
Yeah.
free estimates and all
Free
that kind of
estimates,
stuff.
yeah.
So how would somebody get a hold of you for Mars Carpeting? Is there a phone number? Or?
You could go to marscarpets.com and there's our contact information there. You can call
MarsCarpets.com. Let's say that one more time.
Marscarpets.com.
Easy.
Yeah. I'm eager to get out into Loma Linda, Colton, San Bernardino, Riverside. Our business is mainly referral based right now, and so I haven't really pushed out marketing towards those
We
areas.
really need to talk after the show. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm eager to work with these new communities, and we lead with our hearts. I lead with my heart, and that's how I want my employees to lead as well. I want them to be happy.
Do you have social media that can probably help as well with your business?
Yes, I kind of got off of the social media. You guys were talking politics and all of that, and I protect my guys. I protect my employees, and so
good.
I'm
That's
very
good.
I just couldn't stand reading
Well, I'm
like
gonna
being
want
on
one
social
of your
media.
business cards.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I want to ask. See, I've been in the same house, my wife and I, and I'm not going to get rid of it. It'll be until I die. And I've been there already 36 years. And so a lot of stuff has gotten kind of built up, and some of that's got so much stuff on it. And there's no way to move it. Can you kind of come in front of it?
Oh,
and
no.
cut, and put and to tie into it and put new there?
It honestly depends on the situation, and so it would be a matter of like coming out and looking at it, because sometimes we can do that.
It'd be hard to move some of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll talk
Just a
about
little
that
trim.
personal stuff. I just want to make sure I got the services you offered and where you are. You're on Barton. What's your exact address?
So we're on Redlands Boulevard. So it's 24601 Redlands Boulevard in Loma Linda, California 92354. And the phone number is 909-792-7022, and it's Mars Carpets.
792-7002.
Yeah.
792-7002 for Mars Carpet and Loma Linda and you too. Okay. And marscarpet.com. We've been speaking with Catherine Polishek. Did I do it right 3 times?
You did.
All right. That's good. I did 3 times in a row. And, of course, we've had Donald Williamson here adding his 2 cents
I know
worth there.
exactly where she's located, I think.
Yeah.
Is there some condominiums near you?
I don't think so.
Donald, I got to end the program.
Okay.
I love you, Donald. And, of course, very privileged to have this young man who's just on the air for the very first time. And his name is Ceja, which means eyebrow, Roberto.
Roberto.
I like to roll that out, Roberto, but it's Robert, right?
Yeah,
Robert.
I have a couple of my friends that call me Robert, but
A young
pleasure to
dad,
be here.
just got his master's degree in mathematics from
Yes, sir.
California State University, father of 1 son
Yep.
and 2 dogs.
Yes, sir.
And he showed me just before he got on here a family picture with all that in there. It was very nice.
Yeah, it was
so
very nice.
we got another minute or so. Donald, do you have anything, parting statement?
Well, I noticed she said she went to Redlands High School, I think.
I did.
Or you grew up
Really?
in Redlands, so I
Yeah.
assumed that.
I did,
And
yeah.
2 of my sons also went to Redlands High School, and looking at you, about the same time.
Oh, very good. All right.
small world.
Well, we'll be back next week on Thursday, same bat channel. Thank you to Lillian Vasquez for helping us book Catherine here, and thank you to Roberto for coming, and of course, thanks for Donald Williams for sponsoring the
for
show.
coming.
Thanks to Eric Osorio. I'm Mark Westwood, and I will see you next week right here on the stations that leave no listener behind. KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
Hi, everyone.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda is sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters 1932.